Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to do a video on highlighting, contouring, and blush. A few of these tricks can be used to make your face appear smaller if you have a very round face. So if you just keep watching, we'll jump right into it. So I have no highlighting on my face, I just have the foundation, which I usually use Revlon's Color Stay in NR370. But today, for some reason, I decided to use MAC Studio Sculpt foundation, and I use that all over with a beauty blender. So personally, I don't think the foundation really matters, especially when you're gonna do heavy highlight and contour. I feel like you just put foundation as a base. If I sound a little disgusting, it's because I woke up like maybe an hour ago. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and highlight, which we're going to use the new Instant Age Rewind eraser, and I have mine in Fair. This might look too light for my skin tone right now, but as soon as I set it with the powder, it's perfect. So yes, this is going to look a little funny until you put it on. What I recommend is using a damp beauty blender sponge. These also have dupes now, so I believe you can find them anywhere. I know in Ulta, Real Techniques, the brand, has one, and Marshall's, I've heard that you can find some of these. So you don't have to buy these $20 ones. I've just had mine for 2 to 3 years, so I'm just going to use that one. Go ahead and press that into our skin. Okay, now we're going to move on to contouring, and I'll worry about setting the powder later for the highlight. I'm going to grab my Chocolate Soleil bronzer, which is right here, and then I'm going to contour with that. You don't have to grab a high-end bronzing powder. You can also use the L'Oreal Trumatch Super Blendable Powder, which is what I used for a very long time until I started getting into, until I bought my high-end. As you can see, I've hit pan, so this works just as well. For the sake of the video, I'll just use the L'Oreal. I'm going to grab a Sigma Small Contour Brush, an F05. I'm going to grab a little bit of that powder, the L'Oreal. And what you're going to do is you're going to now feel where the cheekbone ends. And you can start to see that it's from your ear around this area. If you start feeling from here, you start feeling that the cheekbone, that there's a hollow right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my bronzing powder is going to be in this area only. Okay, for beginners, I suggest to take it easy. Don't go so crazy on the contouring, only because if you put too much, you can't really take away. So it's easier to just put a little bit and then build up to that intensity that you want. Now this is personal preference. You don't always have to apply so much. You don't even have to do the contour at all. But contour and highlighting come together, so it's easier to, if you're going to highlight, then might as well contour. It definitely brings out features of your face that wouldn't be there if you didn't contour and highlight. Just going to rub it against my hairline, but more so in this area above my eyebrows. If you use this Maybelline, it tends to dry to a powdery finish, so sometimes I don't even bother putting a powder on top of it. But for this video, I'm going to grab Blot Powder Pressed by MAC in the color Medium Dark. Okay, now moving on to blush, which is the last part. I'm going to grab the e.l.f. Contour and Blush Bronzer. The only thing about this is I would not recommend the bronzer. It makes you look a little muddy. I didn't like it at all. You could tell it just wasn't high quality, so I would definitely stick to the L'Oreal to contour. Now I'm going to grab the peach shade that's in this palette. As far as putting blush, there's two different ways that you can do it. You can apply it directly to the skin and then you can just move it upwards. It's very messy. Or what you can do is smile and then just put it at the very bottoms of the apples of your cheeks, which definitely make it seem like your cheekbones are a lot higher because the blush is lower, as opposed to putting the blush directly onto the apples of the cheeks, and it just doesn't give that same effect. So what I'm going to do is smile, and I'm just going to apply it to the bottom right here, and I'm just going to move it up. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So there's two parts to highlighting. There's one where you're just going to apply a lighter cream to your face just so that you can accentuate those features. And then there's the second part where you're going to apply a powder, which is definitely a shimmer, so that it can bring more emphasis to the highlights of your face. So what I'm going to do is grab a big fan brush like this, and there's two types of highlights. There can be powder highlights, which is this one by MAC. It's a mineralized skin finish and it's called Soft and Gentle. And then there's a cream highlighter, which can be applied with a beauty blender that you used earlier. Personally, I like how the cream highlighter is. I like this for an everyday type of glow, but since the sun's out, I'm going to use the powder one, since it'll bring a lot more emphasis to those highlighting points. So I'm going to grab a little bit on the fan brush. I'm going to dust off the excess powder, and I'm just going to apply it to this area on top of the cheekbones. So what you did was, with the contouring, you shadowed out the bottom of the cheekbones. Now you're just going to highlight the top of the cheekbones so they can seem a lot more defined. You're also going to bring it up on the top of your eyebrows and make that C shape like this. A little on my finger, and I'm just going to apply it to the center of my nose. So this is the end of my highlight, contour, and blush video. Also, just to help you make your face look smaller. So I hope that you enjoyed it, and please subscribe, like, and comment. I'd greatly appreciate that, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.